Hey everybody, in these videos I'm going to show you tips and tricks from the schematic editor and PCB editor. This one's going to be over some setup stuff to do in PCB editor if you'd like. So the first thing I'm going to start with is over here on the right side you'll see visibility, options, and find. You might have seen it in my other video that I had this locked in. You can just lock these in by using the little push pin. You'll really want to leave options locked in over on the side because I tend to use it quite often, and then find's another good one to leave locked in. If those windows aren't there, you can find them through the view windows and select them for right here. If they're missing, if you hit the X, they'll disappear. You won't even have a little tab over here, so this is the way to get them back. And if these kind of get out of order or you don't like the setup and you want it back to the original, you can just reset UI to the Cadence default from this selection right here, and that will give you this message. You click yes, and that sets it all back to the way it was. So let's lock this back in again. I'll explain what this is now. Find is if you have a lot of things on your screen and you're trying to click on something, sometimes it can be so convoluted that it's hard to click on, say, a symbol. You could turn all off and then turn the symbol on, and then you could just click on symbols, which would be parts, basically footprints. You could do the same thing with nets and pins and vias and clines and lines and so on. The other thing you could do is, or you'll notice that is if you're in a different edit mode, this is currently in general edit mode, which you can see down here. It says general edit mode. You get pretty much everything allows you to select, but if you go to placement mode, you have less things to select. Same thing with etch edit mode and shape edit mode. So it all depends on the mode you're in, and of course your options over here change and give you different options to mess with depending on the mode you're in. So the other thing that you'll want to do, or at least look into, is go into setup and do the design parameters. You can specify here at the beginning, well, you can do it at any point in time for that matter, what units you want to be in. If you're more comfortable with millimeters, centimeters, microns, or inches, you can do those. I've just gotten used to working in all three systems at the same time, so it doesn't really bother me. I always leave it in mils, but that's up to you. You can change the extents of your window as well. So right now this is 21 inches wide and 17 inches tall, and then the origin is always over here in the lower left hand corner. So say I only want 3 inches of space to work in by 3 inches of space, and I want my origin to be in the center of that. It will auto correct the left F, or the left X and the lower Y. I'll hit apply, and you can see my origin's actually in the screen now. And then of course I can hit OK from there. And then if I want to turn my grid on, you can toggle it with this or with the F10 button. And now you can see that's 3 inches by 3 inches. And you can see down here at the bottom, it shows you where your current mouse coordinates are. The other thing is changing the grid, and I went into this a little in one of the other videos, but you can also turn the grid on and off from here as well. But you can change the grid. Non-etch essentially means things like parts, and then if you're on an etch like planes or you're running traces or things like that, that would be the top and bottom. I normally leave this as is to start and only adjust it when I need it to be adjusted, so that's up to you however you want to do it. And then the only other thing that I kind of mess with right at the beginning is the global dynamic parameters. I just do all this at the beginning, that way I don't forget later. But I go in here and oversize these values to 10. And on Peralta's website you'll find the specs. The minimum value for these values should be 5. I only lower these values if I have to. What you'll see is maybe you're losing connection from a plane due to this oversized value being too large, and you might need to shrink it to grab connection to a plane. Otherwise you might have to run an extra trace to get connected to another side of a plane. And then of course you have the thermal relief connects over here, and then I set that at 20, and then I apply all that and hit OK. So those are the main basic things I set up my boards with, just for Peralta's. I think that's all I'm going to show you here for this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one on some more tips and tricks videos.